into using event planning, or if you have food, or if you have gowns, and you want to target that market. It's a great market for you to approach, and I would advocate that you go check it out this year. You might be in a little bit late for being able to become a vendor. However, when we talk to Fran in just a few moments, you will be able to learn more about that to see if there might be vending tables that you could catch at the last minute and target that market. Very similar to the bridal shows, a lot of people come, and the last bridal show I went to, which is actually where I met Fran, it was about 10 people deep per booth, so it was pretty amazing. Now I also want to give a shout out and some thanks to our sponsors on the show. We have Glendale Flowers, which is located on 59th Avenue in Glendale, and it's very, very quaint, and those little shops that they turned the residences in that area into shops in downtown Glendale near the Arts Center there, and it's just absolutely quaint and beautiful. Ice cream shops and all kinds of things, but the floral shop is right in there, Glendale Flowers. Make sure you drop by for all occasions. And we also would like to thank Planet Beach for being our sponsor as well. In particular, the location on 59th Avenue in Berend, which is just off the 101 freeway on 59th Avenue, about a half a block south of the freeway on the 101 and Berend in northwest Glendale, which would be considered the Arrowhead area. So I wanted to talk today about Pinterest. Pinterest is something that, a little bit like Twitter, a lot of people say, what is the buzz about Twitter and what is the buzz about Pinterest? And a lot of us might remember saying, what's the big deal about Facebook? What's the big deal about MySpace? What's the big buzz about YouTube? I remember when an entire university of 30,000 students, a conservative university, banned YouTube. The kids were wasting so much time on YouTube and looking at things that they thought maybe were not the most desirable, and they were right. I mean, since that time, there are certain things on YouTube that you can't look at unless you have an account, and make sure that you're above 18 and things of this nature. But back then, there weren't any limiters, and so the university was probably well within its rights to ask the students to be a little bit careful with what they're viewing on YouTube. So coming back to Pinterest, what exactly is Pinterest? Well, very simply put, I mean, when you sign up for Pinterest, just go to Pinterest.com and create an account. It will ask if you want to sign in through Facebook. Now, keep aware that when you sign in through anything, when they say sign in through Facebook, what that means is whatever you do on that account after that gets posted to Facebook. So if you're going to be looking at pictures that you don't want other people to know you're looking at on Pinterest, don't sign up through Facebook. Because then the entire world knows that you're looking at those bikini pictures or whatever it is that, and that's, very often includes your wife. She knows what you're looking at. So if you're going to be doing that, just be a little bit careful. Just know what you're doing, including that if you are a political party, that maybe half of your friends on your Facebook are of a different political party, and you don't want to involve politics, but you're running around pinning all these amazing political cartoons that you think are great and funny, you might be ticking off half of your Facebook friends. So just keep in mind, not just in Pinterest, but in everywhere you go, when you sign in using Facebook or sign in using LinkedIn, again, it's one thing you could say, well, half my friends on Facebook, if they don't like my politics, they're not my friends. Okay, whatever. That's your prerogative to think about that. However, on LinkedIn, it might be your boss that doesn't like your politics, and he's he's on LinkedIn with you. It may be somebody who matters in your professional world that you start ticking off on LinkedIn. So again, if you log in through LinkedIn to a social media account, or if you think, oh, I think I'll just log in through that because it's easier, I'll remember the username and password. That's not the extent of it. That's one of I'm going to call that the social media outrage of the week. So just keep in mind that you get tracked and you lose a lot of your social privacy when you log in, because you may not be aware of the unintended announcement of everything that you're looking at.
Permanent?
And it also, as in anything in social media, it's very permanent. So, and not only everything you click on, and keep in mind that, you know, everything you look at, everything you click in Facebook, on any of these social media engines or platforms, it stays forever. So if you know, always ask yourself, do I want my grandkids knowing that I was looking at this? Because they can go in one day and say, hey, what was Grandpa doing, you know, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago? And so the recording of society is becoming a much larger thing. And it's not like it goes on that floppy disk that now nobody can find, has dirt in it somewhere underneath your dresser. This is something that will continue to hang around on the internet for the rest of time. So these are all very important things. So back to Pinterest. Pinterest essentially it's very, very simple. It's a place where you either upload or you tag photos that you like using Pinterest. So it's essentially a collage board where you create a lot of your pictures. So Facebook has that. So why did everybody run after Pinterest all of a sudden? That's a really big question. The reason why everybody went after Pinterest is that it's really easy, and it allows you to kind of create. It's the same thing that you did when you were in 8th grade, and you got your binder for your social studies binder, and you began to write Sushi and the Banshees, and you know Coldplay, and all the different types of music that you like, all the bands you can think of. You litter up the front of your notebook, and so that everybody knows all the cool bands that you have, and everybody, you know, other people say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you loved the Cult or the Cure." Can you tell my age category here? But anyway. You know, now we just went to the Kelly Clarkson concert, which I related more to the Fray than to the Kelly Clarkson concert. But, you know, these are all things that I probably would want to go on Pinterest and start tagging all the pictures that people throw up on Pinterest from the concert. I mean, how amazing is that? That's pretty cool. And then all those go into the Pinterest file.
Category.
Yeah, into different categories. Now, there's also professional reasons. You know, if you're a photographer and you want to have you want to pin all of your photography that has to do with mountain scenes or all those that have to do with taking pictures of people. It really has taken on a life of its own for people to be able to pictorially represent who they are. In the articles that I was reading about Pinterest, they actually had the ability. Let me not say ability. There was a guy who found out that it gave him a job. So there was a potential employer that looked at his Pinterest collage, and they decided they wanted to hire him just for that. They thought he was creative, and in a few pictures, in a lot of pictures actually, it tells people who you really are. And so people love that. But there is another reason why Pinterest took off. And it has to do with what we talked about in the last couple of weeks, is search engine optimization. If people like the pictures that you have on your website and they pin or tag, you know, depending on what term you want to use, your pictures, then that, and other people tag the tag and tag the tag the tag, what you have is a bunch of backlinks. And what Google is always measuring is how popular is your website. It's a big popularity contest out there, and it all has to do with backlinks. That's one of the biggest things that Google uses to measure how relevant your website is to the keywords that people are searching for. So if you're keep that in mind, that you should now pay very close attention to picture SEO. What that means is putting keywords into your picture, anchor texting your picture, making sure that when people click on the picture, then Google knows what the relevant keywords are relating to that picture. So that is the segment that I wanted to share with you today regarding Pinterest and all the big buzz about Pinterest. There's also one other angle about Pinterest that you should be aware of on a personal level. Keep in mind that, as in anything, when you were writing a research paper, again in 8th grade or in college, if you annotated and created a bibliography of what you were borrowing from other people, then you were okay. If you plagiarize material, the difference between plagiarizing and not plagiarizing was allowing the bibliography and annotating it, creating the little notations. When we tag a picture, or when we pin a picture, then we have that's our annotation. So that is perfectly fine. You can tag all you want of all the art, pictures, anything pictorial out there you want to pin or tag. Go right ahead and do it. But if you download it and re-upload it, you might be in violation of copyright and you might find yourself in a lawsuit. So just keep in mind that that's the case. Also, just a couple of things that are very important to note is that 7% are uploads and up there on Pinterest, and the rest of them are just tags. And there's not one particular place that people are tagging from. There's not one category that goes above 1%. Final thing, out of 4,800 friends on my personal profile, about 400 are using Pinterest. So that kind of gives you an indication of how prevalent it is out there, about 10% of Facebook users. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll come back after the show, hopefully with Fran.